right, you're cool. Getting together and casting those ballots. And I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who participated in our first historic presidential election. As many of you might already know, the first president, President Howie, was appointed by the founders due to the fact that we didn't have any citizens at the time. So this is the first time that the president of Drukul has been elected, and of course, for every other president to be in the future, it will be the same thing by election. I am very proud, and I would like to give a great deal of gratitude to everybody who participated in the election, because without votes, we couldn't elect a president. You can't just say because he's running unopposed that he automatically wins it. Somebody has to vote for him. And a little more than half, I believe, turned out to vote. So I just want to thank everybody for voting who did. And even if you didn't vote, you know, whatever the case it might have been, maybe you don't feel like voting, maybe you did it too late. Thank you for your support. Now, I have been very proud of this nation since it first formed. We've been through so many different conflicts together, you know, whether it be the rebel attempted takeover, you know, in 2018 by Al Fair, you know, wanting to take over the government with his rebel group, the Brand District conflict, previous issues we had, you know, with nations like Fidelis and everything like that, you know, which, you know, right now is a lot better than it was. And, you know, internal conflicts as well. Internal conflicts, getting rid of those who attempted to change our government structure and our government style without, you know, proper legislation, violating our Constitution, things along those lines. You know, there's been a lot that the nation has been through, and activity, growth has been a big one, you know, back and forth, you know. So we've been through a lot together as a community, but we've established, you know, at the moment what we've got is a really great deal of people who are very dedicated, especially those who come here every day, who really want to see the passion of others and the legacy of Vlad's history continue to live. And that's really why we do all of this, not just for that, but it's a big cause. It's a big reason for it. I would like to say, first and foremost, I would like to thank my beautiful wife, who doesn't exist, for her support. And, I would like to thank everyone in the administration, everyone who is currently a part of Drukul, citizens, retired officials, founding persons, since we have a lady with us as one of our founders, people currently working in government, people working in our Defense Department, people working in our State Department, our new Naturalization Director, those who work in our military institutions like Prison, those who've worked in other educational institutions that don't even exist anymore, but like Stephen the Great University. All of this dedication, hard work, and commitment has really got us to where we are today. And we couldn't have done it without you, because it's not just about who's at the top as a leader. It's about everybody doing their fair share, doing their part. That's what makes success. President Howie, as everyone well knows, has been very absent and very distant from his office throughout the last 4 years. Unfortunately, a lot of those reasons are beyond his control. A lot of them, you know, resulting in family issues, deaths, medical issues, things of that sort. but he has definitely done his part when called upon. So we must give him credit, because when we do ask for his help, he does come answer the call to help us out. So he has greatly attributed to our success as well, and we should give credit where it's due. I certainly enjoyed working with President Howie, tremendous individual. I will be able to see him in December when he comes physically to Dracul. I invite everybody to come and meet him, as he will be flying in from Scotland and probably won't be back for quite some time. But that information will become available later on a specific date, and we will be able to have a meet and greet. My vice presidential candidate, I should say now my vice president-elect, Connor Modena, has certainly done his part in helping Dracul. And I definitely want to thank him as well for all of his ideas, his commitment, his respect, his dignity, his honor, everything. I am very honored to have him as my vice president, and things are going to be wonderful once we fully take office in January after our inauguration. He is expected to be in town for the inauguration in January. So things are we have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of plans to better Dracul, not just internally, but externally too. You know, it's not all about what happens on the inside, but it's about what happens on the outside too. And what affects the micronational community as a whole. And, you know, we are definitely aiming towards better progress, more professionalism. Some people might say, well, you're already professional. Yeah, but there's always room to improve. And that's what we plan on doing. Room to improve. Whether that be communicating with allies better, establishing better security measures in place when speaking with other members of other governments, which is something that we should have done a long time ago. Outside foreign influence attempting to change the way we do things. We've had a lot of that before in the past, of other micronations coming to leaders such as myself and others saying, well, I don't like the way you're doing this. They think you should do it this way. There's not going to be any more of that. You know, we run Dracul the way we see fit. Certainly, if we need assistance, we'll ask for it. But, you know, outside foreign influence, it's not going to be acceptable. It's not going to be tolerated, especially, you know, if it's along the lines of an internal matter that we're resolving ourselves, which doesn't involve them. Now, you know, I say that respectfully because, you know, this is not the type of mentality to say that we don't care what others say, but it's more along the lines of we need to handle our own business internally the way it's supposed to be handled. And if handled successfully, we did our job. If not, we go back to the drawing board, we make corrective measures. That's what it's really all about, is learning, a learning experience. And that's really it is. That's really what it is. Activity has been a big issue within the Commonwealth. Now, we can't really point the finger at specific individuals or even groups of people and say that, well, you know, they don't want to be here. It's been very difficult for people to figure out what exactly it is that they can do in Dracul to be active. Not everybody wants a government job. Not everybody's able to come to physical events. So we're going to work on some things when myself and my Vice President Modena are inaugurated. After that, when we get into office, we're going to work on some things to better that, to make it easier for those across the ocean to actually be able to participate more with Dracul. Get something out of it. You know, we've already got commissions and things of that sort for the Dracul Navy that we're about to release for those both in Dracul and outside of Dracul. A great opportunity to own a piece of Dracul, to call it your own forever, something honorable that can't be taken away from you, and at the same time is able to support Dracul. And that's really what it is. It is helping us out, and in return for your gracious assistance, us saying thank you. This is what we provide to you. It's very honorable what you have done by helping us out. And I think that needs to be something more that we do for the community, because the community desperately wants to be more involved with Dracul. They want to be able to say, look, you know, this is a great idea y'all got. Y'all got a great country. This is awesome. Well, what can we do to help you out? What can we do to support you? What can we do to be allies with you, to establish a great relationship? And that's just the start of it right there. By helping them out, they help us out, we help them out, we award them and thank them, and are very appreciative of that. But there's many different things that we have planned, not fully set in stone yet, more along in the discussion line of what we can do, including awards, awarding those who really go out of their way to help us out. You know, Dracul is a community that's very unique in itself, very different from the rest of the world. There are certain aspects that are the same, such as government styles and things of that sort, and the way regions are laid out, like states. But the ideology and the political statements that come from the vibe, I guess you could say, of Dracul, you know, they're very unique. That's what pulls people in, is uniqueness. I try to explain that to micronations all the time who are struggling. Well, what can I do to get people in here? Nobody wants to be a part of my micronation. You've got to be unique. You can't copycat and mimic a country that already exists. You got to create your own history, let your own history develop, your own culture. You know, people ask me, well, what's the culture of Dracul? Well, there's many different cultures. It's like Switzerland. There's more than just one culture there. The United States, there's more than just one culture there. You come to Dracul and you see what happens here and you experience it, you find that answer out for yourself, exactly what we are. There really is no one answer on what Dracul is. It's all of what you determine it is, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. What are we to you? Because Dracul means different things to different people. It doesn't mean, well, what it means to me, it might not mean to the man across the street. And that's the beauty of it. It's not one specific thing that people all have to believe or think. Dracul means something different to everybody. Some similar, but most of the time, it's a different meaning. And that's the great part of it, that we can all come to the conclusion that it's something different in our own eyes. And nobody else cares what we think it is, because they have their own idea. That's the great part. This administration is going to be very busy after January 6th. We have many executive orders laid out, prepared. I know our parliament will be very busy as well, making legislation that actually makes sense, making legislation that will actually change Dracul and affect in positive ways the community and those who are a part of us. You know, one of my biggest campaigns that I want to work on as president is helping those in the community in Houston, in the macro city of Houston, especially those who are homeless, helping them find a shelter, seeing them thirsty on the side of the street, giving them a bottle of water, all those sorts of things. You might only give it to 10 people, but you helped out and positively affected 10 lives. It's a big issue that is in Houston. It might not be in Jerkul, but with Houston surrounding Jerkul on all four sides, it is our duty to help those in need in our community. You see someone in distress, Jerkulians would help them when they see that. And while that might not be the largest, biggest goal of Jerkul, it is still something that we should do to help those in need around us. Foreign aid, you could call it. But nevertheless, assisting those who need it. Professionalism, as I mentioned, is something very serious that we would like to improve on. Again, not saying that we're not professional, we certainly are. We're one of the most professional micronations out there. However, I do feel that there's always room for improvement in any manner whatsoever. We will see to it that we do that and ensure that those who pick up government jobs know how to do them. I think that's a big problem in micronationalism as a whole, but we've seen that certainly in Jerkul too. People don't want to pick up a job because they say, oh, I don't know how to do this job. I don't think they'll teach me. People get into the job and they say, well, I don't really know what to do. And then people can only give them a tip here or there. I plan to improve on that as well. The training and on-the-job training for those who take new positions, and limiting those numbers of jobs that people can hold at once. You know, it does no justice to the community when someone's holding 15 jobs, because you cannot give an accurate and dedicated amount of time to all, for instance, 15 of those jobs. One job is going to take more precedence and more time than the other 14. That's just the way it is, even if you don't intend it. So limiting those numbers of jobs will not only allow people to focus on those jobs that they have, but it will allow those jobs to remain open for newcomers to be able to take those jobs as well. And that's what we want. We want fresh blood, no pun intended. But we do want new people in positions in our community. And that's what helps our people grow and our community grow. You know? It has been a fantastic ride through Jerkul these past 4 years, and it will only get better. And now, with a full-time active administration, I can assure you that things are going to get better than they already are, and I certainly welcome you, especially outsiders, to come into Jerkul and see for yourself what it is that we're all about, the positive changes that we'll be making, and why Jerkul lives forever. Thank you for all of your support tonight. I look forward to being your president, and I'm honored to have the title of president-elect with my amazing counterpart, Vice President-elect Connor Modena. We thank you all, and especially those in our cabinet, and especially I would like to give a great amount of respect and appreciation to Field Marshal Scott Jeans, who has also helped us in all ways to protect this nation from both threats internally and externally since his arrival and to this day. And I would like to thank him for that too. Everyone have a great rest of your night. 4 more years of Jerkul. And thank you again, and good night.